This is your summer rundown 179. Let's get it. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Summer Rundown, episode 179. It's the first rundown of the summer edition, but I will say it hasn't really changed much beside from the spring rundown, except for Wistoria is no longer here. If y'all haven't guessed yet, our third show is gonna be Bleach. Thousand Year Blood War, the finale, Calamity, I think they're calling it. But sadly, it hasn't started yet. It's gonna start at the end of July, so we got a few more weeks before that kicks off. We was actually gonna add another show to the rundown, but it turns out that One Piece pulled a slick move on us, and instead of doing split cowers, they decided to do one long cower, double cower or whatever, back to back, you could say. So
Yeah.
instead of what was we gonna have? Elusive Samurai?
Yep. Elusive Samurai. Which we actually had previously when it did air for season 1.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't going to be like a totally new show, but at the same time, it was going to be
I mean, it's
a
popular show, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
We enjoyed it.
I feel like a lot of people enjoy Elusive Samurai. I think it's one of the more popular shows that's coming out, this season. But obviously, since One Piece came back, we're big One Piece fans. We've always said that One Piece will be on the rundown whenever it's airing or whatever,
One Piece or bust.
Yeah. And obviously, like, Elusive Samurai is not gonna take Bleach's spot, especially the finale. You know what I mean? So, it's fixing to go hard. But we're just gonna have to wait a couple more weeks before we get that first episode. But apparently there's only 10 episodes of Bleach, Nam. So it's gonna be a shorter season. So
I guess that makes sense then why they decided to wait before they decided to air it. Not to mention too, so it could be obviously weekly, but what if they drop 2 episodes on launch day, right?
Well, how many did they drop? See, they did the theater treatment, and I don't know how many episodes they showed in theater. I don't know if it was 2 or 3. So, but they did do like a theater premiere, I guess you could say, of this Bleach cower coming up. So, but also Bleach also does a thing. They have done a thing where they run longer than traditional episodes. So even though it's 10 episodes, we might have 1 or 2 that's, pretty long, pretty long episodes.
40 minutes.
Yeah. So we never know.
Actual action too, not just like including credits and
this is
flashbacks.
This is the Calamity, Nom. This is the end.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the final.
The end.
Yeah, the final battle or whatever, right? So but
this is before Ichigo pulls the ultimate ass pull.
What?
Turns out he was actually God all along.
What? No, one of the things I'm most excited about is obviously as a Yoruichi, fan, I'm excited for our queen showing what she's about, or whatever. So
you and every other single person who has ever read the manga and has been fucking, what was it? Rule 34 ring.
Yeah, we've been waiting. I've heard rumors. I've heard stories about people getting divorced after seeing the premiere of the Bleach in the theaters because I guess Yoruichi the stuff about Yurichi, I guess, is probably in those episodes that premiered in the theaters, and there's
It
like
was too much.
I
It was
I
just too much
literally
for them.
I seen stories of people getting divorced over it, and I'm just like, bro, well, I guess I could understand if you didn't read the manga, but why would you take somebody with you? You know what I mean? Like if they don't know about anime, so I don't know. But anyways, it's gonna be a fun time. So it's gonna be a fun time. Can't wait for that to get started. But like I said, on this first summer rundown, we're gonna be discussing Daemons of the Shadow Realm, episode 13 and 14. And we're gonna be discussing One Piece Elbaph Arc, episode 1169. Uh One Piece also had a kind of break, except it wasn't a break. They
We're not
put
talking about that one.
yeah, they put One Piece Heroines in its slot for the last week, which is really good, by the way. If you like Nami and Robin and like a more of a slice of life kind of vibe, you definitely should check that out. It was really good. I know Nam probably didn't watch it, but I really enjoyed it. So it was a fun time. Um, but we only
Definitely
got one
Tyler.
episode of One Piece, so
Definitely Tyler episode for sure.
yeah. Oh yeah, it was great, Nam. Talk about shoes, Nom. Hot heels that you can fight in, Nom. Footwear that you can fight in.
God damn it, Tyler.
Does that not sound like a great episode? Somebody trying to steal shit from Nami. Guess who wins? Nami wins. She's the ultimate thief. But yeah, it was a fun time. Definitely check it out. But before we get started, make sure you follow us on all the podcast platforms. Also on YouTube, social media, all that stuff. You can find all the links at linktree.com/animedegens. And now we say hi to Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Now let's get started.
This is the part where Dan would say hi back.
Yeah.
If we had one.
Well, I was going to say if he listened to this episode, which he's not going to either. We're going to be sitting here waiting for like years for Dan just to say hi back. And we're going to be so sad because he's not going to say hi back.
He'll never say hi.
Yeah, unfortunately. So
not in that way.
Y'all have to pretend to be Dan and say hi for him. Say hi. I'm Dan. Hi, y'all.
You don't have to add the y'all part. I promise. The y'all is optional.
You can say, hi, Dan, Nam, and Tyler. There you go. But anyways, let's get the show started, Nam. With Daemons of the Shadow Realm. I guess I'm doing Daemons this week, so.
Yep.
Episode 13. We got episode 13 called Dakyo and Shokyo. And this episode, we're diving into the sword daemons. We've seen a little bit of them like the week before or whatever, when he run into the shaman. But Dakyo and Shokyo are the names of the two swords. And I actually looked them up, Nam, and tried to figure out what they actually meant. And it means big curse and little curse, basically. So,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool, especially like the one that is very aggressive, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
He's the big curse, and the one that acts shy, I would assume it's like acting shy. It seems very shy. But it's little curse. So, but Dakyo, the big curse, they're feisty. They're like really, really aggressive. They're calling Yasuno a monkey, lazy, basically saying that he should pay rent and like everything. Like it's crazy, man. And I thought that was really fun. Especially when you got like a sword like acting like that, and it almost seems like they're like acting on their own. Did you think so?
Oh yeah, yeah, and almost as though they're also egging on the swordsman,
Mm-hmm.
trying to impose their own will on him.
Yeah,
as if he
So
needed that.
for a while I thought like he was the one like controlling them, you know, like slashing people and stuff, but I really don't think so. I think it's all it's he just holds them and they do whatever. So especially the big one. So um but then it kind of gets a little confusing at first, at least it did for me, because we're not in the village right now. We're in a room, you know, and he's with the old white haired dude or whatever. And like he starts cutting out a square in like the air and it turns into the shaman's belly. I'm just like, what? Like, what's going on here, you know? Um, but apparently, like, he can it seems like he can mark something like when he cuts like when he cut the shaman's belly he like marked it, I guess, or whatever, right? And then he can like make that appear out of thin air, that little space that he cut, and he can get in it and transport to wherever the original thing is at the time, like teleportation, somewhat. And I think that's really, really strong. That's a crazy power to have. I don't think we've seen anything else like that in this world, have we?
No, and especially too because he can create it out of whatever size that he desires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he took that whole shaman's like abdomen and just teleported out of there, or teleported it out of there rather,
Mm-hmm.
and he took its place.
Yeah. And it's like I think he's limited though, eh, based on like the size of the canvas. I'll call it the canvas, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously if he found like a skinnier person, it would probably been harder for him to do what he did with the shaman. But since the shaman was like a bigger guy, he was able to do that. And but still, like I find that like I find that to be like an insane power, especially
Oh, most
when
definitely.
the Daemons are like big curse and little curse. Like how does that give you the ability to like teleport? You know what I mean? Like I don't understand it, but
A cursed space that only
yeah,
you can
maybe.
occupy.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was a really interesting way to start like the episode because we actually figure out a little bit about his power and how strong it actually is. Uh, but on the other hand, at Darrow's house, I thought this was funny because like Dara introduces Yuru to a TV. He's like, "Here, son, sit down. I want to show you something." And he just brings out the TV and turns it on, and they're just so fascinated with it. They're like left, right, and Yuru. I think Ken even too, right? Ken was fascinated too a little. I think
No,
not as
Ken
much though.
Ken knew of TVs and stuff like that. Ken's had a lot of experience in the actual
Yeah, yeah.
modern society, right? So he's grown adjusted to a lot of those things. That's not nothing new to him.
Yeah, it was funny though watching Yuru and Left and Right. It was just like I was like, oh no, this is how we get introduced to TikTok. You know what I mean? Like this is the path that we're going down now. He's never gonna leave the house now.
God no.
He's never
I
gonna touch grass.
he would hate TikTok. I already know it.
Get this man a cell phone. That way we can see. But it was really funny. It was a good tension breaker. So, uh, but then we go back to more seriousness. Because Yoshino, which is the swordsman, he's at Higashi Village now. Remember, he teleported. Um, and he's basically just killing everyone. Anyone that he comes across, he's killing them. He's like chopping them up into like three different pieces. Everyone, no one stands a chance against him. No hesitation, just cold blood, killing everyone. He ends up actually like making it to the granny, which she's in like the main keep or whatever, right? Um, and he's thinking about killing her. Like he comes close, and then he decides to keep her alive because he wants to take the fake Asa and basically use her against Yuru somehow. We don't know how yet, but he wants to take her and use her. And he thinks that if he kills the granny, that the fake Asa, will lose her form because obviously she doesn't look like Asa um originally. She's obviously, taking that form because she was told to or whatever, right?
Yep.
And so I think that's smart of him. Um but also it was brought to her attention during this fight several times. I feel like they asked the question like, where's the other half? Where's the other Daemon? Because they wasn't nowhere to be found. Um, and it's odd because like every time we've seen like a Daemon fighting something, the other Daemon's usually present. Especially you know
Demons
when
are always in pairs.
yeah
Demons always come in pairs. That was one thing that they told
yeah,
us in the beginning.
and
Demons are
especially
always in pairs.
mm-hmm. So it was kind of odd to see them not there. I kind of at the time I kind of assumed that they was just kind of like staying hidden or something, but I guess I was wrong, and we'll talk about that later. So, but this Yosuna, he ends up, taking Asa. Asa decides to go with him willingly to spare the granny's life and stuff. And he ends up going and leaving the village. But before he goes, he also takes some random kid as hostage too, because the more the merrier. When you're trying to do sneaky shit against Yuru, right? Like
Of course.
maybe he won't fall for Asa, the fake Asa, because like he left her already and stuff. So maybe he'll fall for an actual human being, kid. So, um, who knows? You got to try whatever he's got planned anyway. So, and so this is actually when we see Donji, which is, if you remember, this was Yuru's best friend in the village. We see Donji and his mom. She's telling him to leave the mountain and find Yuru to protect him. She even gives him a piece of paper and she says, "Here's the directions to get off the mountain." And she also says, "Hey, if you see," she says her name, but it's Yuru's parents. If you see Yuru's parents, give them, regards from me. And I thought that was interesting, because like for one, like it makes me wonder if she's the one that actually helped them off the mountain because she knows how to get off the mountain and she knows them well enough to want to say hi to them, if they're seen. You know what I mean? So it makes me curious, like, who is she? Like, what is she to Yuru's parents?
Yeah,
'Cause-
no, I mean that is a very good question.
yeah. And I think a lot of people is gonna like see that scene and they're probably gonna look past that. But I thought that was a really important uh I guess what's that called? Like breadcrumb, I guess, like foreshadowing, I think, right? So, but yeah, pretty cool scene there. Uh I do think that she has some more things going for her. I did at that time anyways. And so we see Donji, he's going to get off the mountain right now. He's on his way down. He's running around. Um and he gets to the sign and he realizes that he's found his way out. And this is where I was thinking like, how in the world is Donji, someone from Higashi Village, gonna be able to find Yuru in a big city when he's just like Yuru was and will be lost as hell and confused at how like civilization works now, And It's so funny. I was thinking that, and like as soon as I thought that, we see Oshirazama pull up with the horse. She's the like the goddess, the goddess with the white horse or
The horse
whatever.
Damon.
Yeah. And she comes out of nowhere and she's like, "Hey, you want to ride? We could go find Yuru together." And I'm just like, "Oh, how convenient." uh did you think that was really convenient, Nom?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But like at the same time, more power to him, right?
Oh yeah. But I thought that was pretty funny because there's no way he's finding Yuru, on his own. So he obviously he has to have something fall into his lap like that, right? And he did. So it's cool to see that. But then she, like I said, she basically offers him, you know, to help find Yuru with him. And she even takes him, she's even so fortunate enough to take him on the highway. Which I thought was really funny. Dude got a ride of a lifetime.
Oh yeah, he did. Imagine the people around that just happened to see a horse just trucking along on the fucking freeway next to them.
Yeah, crazy times. Imagine going probably what 70, 80 miles an hour, probably, maybe even faster on a horse in the open, air or whatever with no like way to, I guess, secure yourself. Like I would be scared to death. I ain't gonna lie. So, but I thought that was really cool. She's like, we get to go on the highway. Um, but then we go back to Yuru's house where Hana, she actually gets a call from her job. They're saying that the shaman is dead, which we as viewers, we already know this. We know the shaman's dead, but she has to go bury him. And I'm curious now, I'm like, you may know, but like, do we know what she does for work, or is like this the first time we're actually getting to see her do something like this for her job?
I think this is the first time we're getting to see something like this for her job. I think previously it was always restricted to just she was always working underneath Dara
Hmm.
or Ryu. Now she's actually like doing tasks that are more beneficial for her line of work instead.
Yeah. So, do you think she like is she responsible for covering up Damon incidents or something? Do you think?
No, I think probably just her family has ties with the shaman, and so he was under her watch. And if something should happen, it's up to her to clean it up.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I wasn't sure what to make of this because, like, to my knowledge, um, we don't really know like a whole lot about Hana and her like employment and stuff, other than what we've seen with like Dara. But so I was thinking maybe she's like some kind of like she's like some like the Men in Black, you know what I mean? Like they go out there and cover shit up so normies won't find out or some shit. You know what I
I
mean?
don't I don't think she's that much of a badass, okay? Like,
I don't
don't get me
know,
wrong, I
dog.
think she could handle herself, but like now you're stretching.
I mean, look, Nom, look at her Daemons. It's like she's got tracker Daemons, right?
Yeah, tracker demons.
I mean, next thing we know, she's gonna have the pin, bro. You know.
She's gonna have a raccoon with some really big nuts.
That is true too. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. That we learned a little bit about her job and stuff. So, um, but as the episode is ending, she is there with the body, and the bandits actually show her something interesting. There's actually a message carved onto the belly, and it's a message to Yuru, and they're basically saying, "Hey, we've got, your kid's sister also, blah blah blah, and another random kid from the Higashi village, and you need to meet us at this place at this certain time on this certain day. And it doesn't say or else, but like I think it's kind of implied or else, you know what I mean? So uh I'm assuming the kid and the fake Asa gets the good old chopping treatment if nobody shows up. So the bandits also tell her, they're like, hey, if you see Dara or anyone else, you do not need to tell them about this. You need to keep this a secret. And she's like, oh yeah, I won't tell them, even if I see them, because she acted like she didn't know them. So I'm assuming she's keeping that a secret. But she's like, yeah, I won't say anything if I do see them. And then after they're gone, she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm definitely not gonna say anything. I'm just like, she's trying so hard to convince herself that she's not gonna say anything that I feel like she's gonna say something. Did you think so too, Nom?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No? She was
No.
trying to convince herself a lot, Nom. A lot.
I don't know. I feel like she's still not going to at the end.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is it for episode 13. Do you have anything else you want to talk about for 13? Before we get into
Nope.
the truth? If she did
Nope.
or not?
I'd much rather get into that part.
Okay, so we got episode 14. We call friend and family. So, like we was talking about, Hana, she actually gets back home. She finds Dara. He's cleaning his guns. He's, checking his magazines and all that stuff. Just doing a little maintenance. And everyone else is gone to find a spot to basically practice at, practice shooting, because you know, Yuru's gonna teach Ken a little bit more about, I guess, surviving and, defending
How to
himself
handle a
and stuff.
bow and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to find a place in the big city that they can do this stuff at without getting weird looks or whatever, because it's probably frowned upon to be randomly shooting bows in the city. So you might get the cops called on you.
Yeah, just might.
And I will say, at this time, I thought that she was going to keep it a secret, because she's doing a really good job at hiding the fact that she knows about the message on the body. Like, Dara's like doing a full blown interrogation. Like, oh yeah, what'd you find out? Oh, what'd they say? Who killed him? Blah blah. And she's just like deflecting so much, and like very believable too. Dara believed her. And she opens the fridge door and she's like, oh, why didn't y'all eat the dinner I left for y'all or whatever? And he's like, well, we decided to wait for you because Yuru said that hot pots are best meant eaten as a family. And I think that broke her. That kind of like softened her heart and made her realize like what she was doing there, I guess. And she started blabbing, talking to herself, as she called. Um, and
Damn it, Hana.
yeah, yeah,
You let me down.
yeah. I mean, I thought she was gonna keep it a secret too, but and then I was like, damn, never mind. She started talking. She's like, I'm just talking to myself here, and she spills all the beans, which is good though, because if she didn't, fake Asa and that kid, they probably would be dead. Probably they would be killed or whatever, right? Um, so now they get like a little bit of a chance, I guess you can say, because somebody else knows about it that might be able to take action, right? Um, but before we go to all that, we actually get a little fun moment from Yuru and them, because Ken's trying to teach him. This whole like uh little traveling thing, like going to find a practice range or whatever. It's supposed to be about Yuru teaching Ken how to do things, and it ends up, Ken's actually teaching Yuru what he should know. He's
All
like,
about society and stuff.
yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you can't fish here. You can't hunt them birds. You can't just pull out a bow and start shooting. And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm sure you already know this, but you can't just kill people here. And it just broke Yuru's heart. He's like, what? I can't do what? And he's like,
It wasn't
oh,
just killing people, all right? It was self-defense. And he was like,
yeah, yeah.
you can't, you can do it within reason. It's defense, not self-offense.
And he's like, so what have they been teaching you here since you got here? You don't know any common sense. And he's like, I guess I'm gonna have to take it upon myself to raise him correctly. And I thought that was so funny that you got Dara and Hana supposed to be teaching him the ways, and like he literally doesn't know like the basic shit that he needs to know, and a little a kid younger than him is gonna be teaching him how to live in society without going to jail. And I thought that was so funny. um but all the lightheartedness and stuff is kind of broken up at this time, because left and right they're like, hey, there's a little Daemons here. They're approaching. And so they was like, well, we're kind of in a bad spot, so we'll just run away, which is smart. Usually doesn't do that. Usually
Stands his ground.
yeah, stands his ground. But obviously Ken's teaching is working somewhat, because he chooses to go somewhere else. Um, but as they like leave and try to run away, they realize that they're actually being followed by these Daemons. Um, which is interesting, because like you're thinking like, who is it? Is it I was thinking it was like Donji at first, right? Donji and what's her name? Oshirasama and her horse,
Yeah.
right? I was thinking it might be that. I was like, well, if it was them, then why would they be following them without making themselves known? Um, and then we kind of get a glimpse of like two people in like, uh, suits and ties, and they're walking a dog. And so you're like, oh, okay, so these are the people.
Yeah.
Two Daemons, and their master. And, they actually,
such a loop at first.
yeah, it did me too. But apparently these Daemons, they show themselves. They come out, and apparently they're friendly. You're like, oh, okay, this is a trap, right? They're acting friendly. And then the two people start taking off all their clothes. He was like, what? And apparently the two people are actually the Daemons, and the dog is the master.
Don't you dare! They're fucking aliens.
Yeah,
they are aliens.
They're aliens. Yes, they look like aliens. So
why does everyone keep saying that? Because you are.
The you even you even said that they look like the Ashinagi Sama or whatever, right?
Yes, yes, you did.
And it's kind of true. They're like they're very like they look like clones, alien clones, like white alien clones or whatever. They even like talked in like gibberish too or whatever, which didn't help with them trying to convince them they're not aliens. I thought that was all funny, but I never would have thought that the dog would have been the master. That was like the thing that like was like, what are you serious right now? And then Yuru's like, hey, I know someone that can like sever the contract or whatever. And they about died. They was like, no, you cannot. You can't take our master away from us. It was so fun. It was so cute.
To be fair, like Could you ask for anyone better? It's a dog, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean, they just, you
He's a
know,
big old pupper.
yeah, it's a cute little doggy too. So, um, that's so awesome, by the way. But the like at that point, like when we figured out that the dog was the master, and like they're like fangirling over left and right, and they're fangirling, like so hard about it, and you're just like, okay, there's no way these people mean any, malice. They're not gonna do anything. They're good people, because apparently they just want to be friends with other Daemons. They want to have someone they can talk to about like their whole situation. And I thought that was pretty cool. Um and right about that time, talking about friends, Oshiro Sama and Danji pull up, which is also kind of bad too, because like now obviously Danji's gonna tell Yuru about what happened at the village, right? And
Oh, of course.
Yuru, we know what Yuru is, and we know that he's gonna probably want to take action, right?
Instantly.
Yeah. So we all know that this is coming, you know, and this kind of threw me for a loop too, because before we get into all that, like Yuru was so happy, and then all of a sudden, like his vibe changed, and he says, Donji, you're actually a Daemon, aren't you? And I was like, what? What did you say? And apparently Yuri figured it out because he didn't have a shadow. And I was like, oh, okay. That's slick, that's good. Um, but
It's
that
definitely an interesting way to figure it out, too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's smart, like obviously if normal people can't see Daemons, obviously they don't have shadows, right?
Yeah.
So it is true. And I don't think anyone actually told him that. I think he like figured that out on his own, just being in association with Daemons, time and time again. So
Yep.
he's actually pretty smart. Um, but
When he
uh,
wants to be, that is.
yeah, yeah. When he's not being stubborn. So, but I don't know about you, Nam, but when he said that, it did kind of click for me, because the title at that point made sense for me finally. Because every title that we've always had, it's always been like a pair of Daemons, right?
Yep.
And so now we're finding out that Yuru's best friend, that's always been his friend all his life, is actually a Daemon
All of his life.
all of his life. Guess what? Guess what that kind of means? That maybe Donji is a Daemon called friend. And that would make sense, because Fake Asa was Yuru's family. And guess who was missing during the fight? It was one half of the Daemons, right? And
Yep.
so at that point, it finally clicked. I was like, wait, this is actually right. This is actually real. And I was like, this is crazy. This is actually insane. And I actually like enjoyed the way they set this up, and the whole reveal, about how he was friends and she was family, and how that was actually Damon's. Um, but one thing that was pretty cool, like cool to see, was like Yuru. He actually gets upset, which is understandable, because like I guess he feels like he's been betrayed, because like, first he found out that, Asa, which is the fake Asa, she was always, obviously fake, a Daemon. He already knew that. But like that's his whole like childhood. It was a lie, and now he's finding out that his best friend, that he's always been his best friend for life, has also been a lie, because he's also been a Daemon too. So I get it, I understand like why he's
It's a huge
feeling
culture shock for him.
mad. Huh?
It's a huge culture shock for him.
Yeah.
Everything that he thought he knew is completely different since
Yeah,
he's come down from the mountain.
exactly. But do you think he's being too harsh to them?
That's tough to say. That is tough to say because they didn't once tell him right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they asked. So there's only so much that he can really blame them for, right? But at the same time, he definitely feels like he was lied to his entire life and that he can't trust them anymore as a result of what happened.
Yeah. He also, I think it doesn't help that he thinks that they're being used to spy on him by the granny, Granny Yamaha. He thinks that they're spies, they're informants, I guess. Everything that he does, they're telling to Granny or whatever, right? That's what he thinks, and that's kind of what I
Well,
thought too. So
I mean, it's kind of true.
it is kind of true, but also at the same time, like they was their main job was to protect Yuru, to make him uh feel at home, right? To make him feel better.
To make sure that he was safe too.
Yeah. So
Like
I
that's
feel
a big
like
thing.
I feel like knowing that, I feel like he's acting a little too harsh to them, but I understand why. Because like his whole life is just like been a lie, basically. Which is tough, you obviously feel like you're betrayed. Um, but at this point, like, you know, we're led to believe, like, we've been led to believe this whole time that the the granny was their master. Um, like even Yuru thinks that the granny is their master, and I thought so too. Did you think that too, Nom?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
okay,
It's hard not to,
yeah.
considering she's always been pulling the strings from everything that we know of the
Mm-hmm.
series so far.
Especially like Asa, the fake Asa, she was like making sure that the granny didn't die, during the confrontation or whatever. And so you just assumed that, they was masters. She was the master or whatever. But we was wrong, Nam. It was actually Kyoka, which is Donji's mom, mother, as he's been told to call. And it really surprised me. But it also makes sense because if she is the one that helped Asa and the parents and their parents leave the village, maybe she was their friend. Maybe she was trying to save them or something, but they wasn't able to get Yuru off too. And since they wasn't able to get Yuru out of there, she had to find a way to like make him feel safe, like protect him, because what happens to a little kid like that when they lose both their parents and their sister, like it affects them, their mind, their mentally. And so with her help, she was able to give him a friend, and she was able to give him, you know, his sister back. So he didn't technically lose everything, or so he thought at the time. So, but it also makes you wonder even more, like, who is she? How does she know
Right.
what she knows? Is she working with Granny, or is she like working for someone else, or is she working for herself, or like whose side is she
Yeah.
on?
What
You know what
what
I
are
mean?
what are her goals?
Yeah. What is going on? Like because she's obviously not anti Granny, right? Because she told her Daemons to protect Granny too. So it's kind of confusing why she would help Asa and the parents get away from Higashi Village and the Granny, but also at the same time to protect the Granny. Um, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's really confusing because we just don't know what's going on with her. So, um, but yeah, really interesting. But as the episode ends, we see Yuru. He's having to take a little alone time. He decides to take a little alone time, and he says that he's going to go into the woods and think about things for a while by himself. He refuses, you know, left and right. He says, "No, you're not going with me. Stay away. I want to go alone." I think that's a bad idea. But it's Yuru. He's going to do what he wants to do. So just the way it is.
I don't think he's gonna be in any kind of danger or anything. I think everything will work out just fine. But um, I can also definitely get where he's coming from too, because right and left, they admitted instantly, like, yeah, you didn't know he was a Daemon. We thought you knew this entire time.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
mean,
like, I could definitely see where he wants to kind of get away from everyone and everything, and just kind of have a chance to think about things by himself for a moment, you know?
yeah. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't really blame, left and right though either. Cause like they're kind of ignorant too. You know what I mean? Like they don't know.
He won't blame him at the end.
No, no, he won't. I think he's kind enough to, you know, uh, realize his mistakes, especially like, and I think with Donji too, right? Like I think he's gonna forgive Donji as well, uh, because he's gonna go in there and think, and he's gonna realize, hey, like maybe I am wrong, maybe I am too harsh, um, and maybe they ain't spies or whatever. So, but yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is you just you're gonna give him a little bit of time. He's gonna come to a rationale thought.
mm-hmm,
It'll all work itself out.
yeah, but that is basically it, except for the fact that Dara actually went to the gentleman's club because he wants to force Jen to help him with some issues that have come up. We can all probably assume that he's talking about the message on the body and the meeting and stuff. He's gonna force him to, um, you know, maybe go with him or like go there in their place or
Provide some
something.
cover, if anything.
Yeah, because at this time, I don't think that he's gonna try to have Yuru go there. But I think that Yuru is gonna end up going there. For somehow he's gonna find out, and Yuru is gonna be at that meeting place.
Yeah,
So,
he won't miss it for the world.
yeah. So even though Dara has his own plans and he's meeting up with Jen in order to try to figure something else out, to prevent Yuru from being there or whatever, it's not gonna work. We already know it's not gonna work. uh but yeah, that's all I got for Daemons of the Shadow Realm, episode 14. Do you have anything that you would like to add to it?
No, I think you did a pretty good job covering everything. Um,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
pretty interesting episodes. So I think we're kind of starting to heat up a little bit. I would say with the swords dude and the old the old guy or whatever that kind of looks like Rot. I think we're I think we're kind of like heating up a little bit. So
I would agree with you there.
yeah, which it's needed. It really is needed. We need to actually get to cooking. So enough with the world building. So
I don't know. I think the mangaka has done a really good job of establishing a good pace. I feel right.
yeah.
Like, it's not too fast. It's not too slow where it's dragging on,
Mm-hmm.
but it's now to the point where it's established, right? And it can carry on.
Yeah. We just need to know. I guess I kind of the thing that I've been talking about lately is like we need a goal and a sort of like a villain, I think. And I don't think we had one of those until these people showed up. So and I think we do. I think we have one, kind of, right? So
Most definitely.
yeah,
If Sorga's not a villain, then I don't know what the hell you're watching.
yeah. So hopefully, he seems like he's a pretty good villain too. So like a pretty strong villain. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But that is all I got. Um, if that's all you got too, then let's get on to what you want to
The
talk about.
real thing that everyone's here for. We're talking about Go Piece, of course, guys. Um, thank you, Tyler, for taking over Daemons. By the way, I couldn't take all the talking away from you. You know, that would just be cruel. Um, but no. So this one here is episode 1169. Nice.
Yeah.
The legend lurking in Elbaph. The identity of the Mountain Eater. And starting off this episode, Luffy continues his search for the key, while Nami is also looking for treasure. Because of
Like,
course,
treasure,
when isn't she?
treasure. I'm telling you, Nam, you should watch One Piece Heroines. That is a
I'm
classic
okay.
Nami episode.
I believe that she probably lives up to every bit of the hype, but yeah, no, I'm good personally.
And it's got Robin in it too.
I'm sure Robin does a fantastic job too, but still. But anyways, we do learn that none of the giants in the village are actually aware of where the key is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Save for maybe like Chief Jarl.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a story for another time.
What's Luffy say? Can we just go ask him?
Yeah. Sure, go ahead, Luffy. See how well that goes.
See how long you get to stay on Elbaph, Luffy.
But anyways, Nami ends up finding the throne room, and everything around is damaged. There's actually even a strange mark on the ground, which Roto can see obviously very easily because he's, eyes in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But no one else really has that clear of a view, right? So nobody else is even aware of what it is or what's going on. Roto decides to lift everyone up, and that's where they actually see the pentagram mark on the ground. And Nami calls it out instantly, right? She's like, that's just like a summoning circle. Like in every single piece of media. You're not wrong, Nami. You're not.
What should say, like, that's where you summon demons, and Luffy's like, wait a minute, there's demons here? Demons, come out. Show yourselves, demons.
Come out wherever you
and
are.
Nami's just like, you damn baka.
But anyways, the Roto's sitting there wondering why like the circle is even in the throne room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you will find out later on. Don't try and rush the question. Also, Luffy is an idiot for not remembering literally Egghead, which the events just finished up for.
I mean, as soon as I seen the circle, I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's obviously like a teleportation thing like the elders use, right? And
yep.
You would assume that what's his name?
Shamrock.
Yeah, Shamrock and them, that's how they got to, Elbaph, right? You would assume.
Oh, that is how they got to Elbaph.
Yeah.
They did show that.
Yeah. So that's what I thought of as soon as that. I just can't believe Luffy doesn't remember like
fighting the 5 elders.
Yeah, seeing that as he's fighting the five elders, like, what are you doing, Luffy? Come on. I
It was
think
literally episodes ago.
didn't Zoro. I would assume Zoro seen it too, right? Or did he not?
I don't count on Zoro to remember anything either. They're both fucking oblivious.
They're both idiots.
Um, but anyways, then this strange voice just comes booming out right from out of nowhere, and
Uh-huh.
it's speaking directly to Luffy. Like he's directly calling out Straw Hat Luffy,
Mm-hmm.
and Roto starts freaking out. So much so that he ends up even like throwing everyone out of his hands. And this is where the Mountain Eater reveals himself. Um, Roto actually ends up calling him Mr. Ya, so that's what we're gonna call him for now.
Yasan.
Mr. Ya ends up coming to the castle because he actually felt the presence of Haki from Shamrock and Gunko.
But obviously, I don't think he met Shamrock and them.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know that it's
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
He just knows that he sensed Haki, and obviously that's who it came from. But those people aren't there anymore. But at the same time, he also knows all about Luffy
Mm-hmm.
and all of his exploits, including what just happened on Wano.
Yeah. I mean, anyone with any kind of like knowledge or like any way to like read the news or something like that, right? They should probably know about Luffy, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Also at this point too, turns out Roto is a bit of a freak.
He, as Dan saying, he's just like me for real, for real.
Yep. True Dan stand right there. Roto is Dan right now, okay? That's where Dan is. Dan is Roto.
Yeah, and he's like, please, ultra rare Nami.
He will never call us out because he's never going to hear this. But chat, now you guys know. For all of you listening at home, Dan is Roto.
He's like, please step on me. Or no, what'd she say? I'm gonna kick your ass, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, please, ultra rare Nami.
We do get to learn some more about Mr. Ya's background, including his son Colin.
Mm-hmm.
We do learn that Colin is actually 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ripley is actually 80.
Yeah,
which is insane because Colin looks all of like 7 and Ripley looks like she's 24.
Yeah, time is different apparently for giants. I'll tell you that much. So
yes. But during this conversation, Mr. Ya ends up calling himself the Preacher of Love.
I love it.
Which Luffy just instantly says Sanji's gonna be just like him when he gets older.
Yes. I mean that's the realest thing Luffy's ever said. I love that the show is acknowledging that that Sanji is this type of person.
Well, okay, so it's alluding to more than just that, but we'll touch up on that in just a moment. But during this introduction, we learn the tale as well of a powerful pirate being told to Usopp in the village. And he's learning all about this while Luffy is also proclaiming to Mr. Ya that he wants to set Loki free.
Which is wild to me, by the way, because they just got done having a big conversation between Roto and like Nami and all them, and they're like, "Hey, you shouldn't be going around telling people, random people, this." And then the first person he actually sees, he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, do you know what a key is? I want to set Loki free."
Yep.
Oh my god.
But so one thing that we do get to learn from the conversations too is a little bit more about Shank's power.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually the one who ended up capturing Loki, dragging him back to Elbaph, and chaining him to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how freaking strong are you, dude?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's it. This is a good scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you see how strong Loki is, which you will see, that sets you up for how strong Luffy needs to be to at least even stand the slightest bit of chance
against
against
Shanks,
Shanks.
or to be compared to Shanks, you know, because obviously, like, in order to be king of the pirates, you have to be what? The strongest pirate, right? So,
Yep. Um, but yeah, so while Mr. Ya is going on about how much everyone fears Loki and all the repercussions for setting him free, uh, Luffy and Zoro just take off, and they're like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna talk forever. Where do you
I,
think the key is?"
Luffy's like, this dude's yapping too much. I ain't got time for this shit. Let's go find the key on our own.
He literally stops and looks at him too. This is where we get something that I don't believe was actually in the manga and and if it was, like, they did it even better in the anime because I don't remember it much. But the flashback of when you go back and he's just watching Luffy and then he thinks back to um when he went up against Rogers back when they were butting heads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Such a nice little touch there.
It's always fun to see, like, when you see other people when they look at Luffy and they instantly get like reminded of like Roger, right? Because like Luffy and Roger's literally the same spirit or whatever, right? And it's always a fun time seeing when they do this and like how they incorporate the similarities or whatever. So it's fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um and also too, it just also goes to like set up a little bit more of the world that we're still missing pieces of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Roger's always been smiling. We've never seen him not smiling. And so there was a rare moment as well where he wasn't constantly just smiling. But anyways, back to Usopp. They begin to tell the story of the third man on Roger's crew.
The Sanji.
What? We'll get to that in a second. Hold up
Well, I'm
here.
just saying, you know, the third on Luffy's crew is Sanji, right?
In a sense,
Unless you
they're not.
count Jinbei, right?
It's not how they joined, right? It's more or less their position.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll cover that in a second, right? What I mean by the third man on Roger's crew, though, is what his name is,
Mm-hmm.
which is known as the left arm of the Pirate King. Uh, but when Rogers was actually recovering in a hospital, he was on a mountaintop, and the only person around was this guy, right? Rayleigh wasn't even around at this time. It was just this guy and Rogers on this mountaintop. They got surrounded by hundreds of pirates. And so he goes outside with two axes. He not only murders every single one of those pirates, he destroyed every tree on that mountaintop. As a result, people started calling him the Mountain Eater.
Which is a crazy name to have.
Yes. Um, this is also what they were kind of alluding to with Sanji being just like Yasan when he gets older. They're also alluding to him being the left arm, being the third strongest on the crew once he gets his power out.
You know, I didn't even like when I said like he's just like Sanji, like the third or whatever. I didn't even realize what I was saying at the time, but it makes so much more sense now because like literally they're the same person and like they're technically they're both number three, you know, on their respective pirate crew, right? And like
Yep.
it's just so funny to me that
And on top of that, Yasan was always the more rational one to Roger compared to what Rayleigh was.
Yeah, I mean, what does that remind you of, Nah?
Sanji compared to Zoro.
Zoro's like, yeah, we'll just kill them all. Who cares? And Sanji's like, hold up, let's think
whatever
about it
you
for a
say,
minute.
Captain.
At least with Loki, I'll give Zoro this. At least with Loki, Zoro's like, no, let me go talk to him first. That way I can see if it's a trap or not. And then when we get there, he's gonna say, oh yeah, let's set him free. That's why I'm kind of glad Nami's with him.
Just wait. It's so much better. But anyways,
my God, I can't
Mr.
imagine.
Ya ends up telling Rodo to push the throne as they go off searching for the key and the treasure, right? Which actually uncovers the path to the treasure room. Very clever, hiding it behind the throne room.
Yeah, obviously.
But upon reaching the floor, everything's been looted already. It's an abandoned castle. What do you expect, Nami? You think they're gonna leave it alone after all these years?
I love as they're going down the dark, gloomy stairs. Nami's just singing like treasure, 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 treasure. And then you got Luffy over here, treasure.
And then they get down there and there's absolutely no treasure.
Oh,
soul
so
crushing
funny
to them. But anyways, all the chests have been cracked open, all the riches have been looted, but in the middle of the floor lies the key sitting in a crack in the ground. And Mr. Yasan's like, yeah, see, the place has been abandoned for years. Everyone's gonna loot it. But not even villains want Loki set free. But I'll tell you what. You can have the key. You just gotta take it from me first. But wait, Tyler. I didn't even tell you the best part yet. We still haven't even heard the rest of the story about the third man. So Usopp, right? He's with Jinbei and Brooke and all that. And Jinbei's like, oh yeah, I've heard this tale before. I'd really love to meet this man. And the giants end up telling Usopp and them, hey, guess what? That guy actually lives here. On Elbaph for the last 20 years. He's the legendary left arm of the Pirate King. And this is our final confirmation. Mr. Ya is Scopper Gabon. The Mountain Eater.
Which is, this is all pretty cool. But it is interesting because now he's basically defending the key, right? Defending the right to set Loki free. And even though he's retired and older and stuff, we all know that Rayleigh, he is too, but look at how strong Rayleigh still is, right? So this dude's obviously still really strong too. So, but the thing is like, do I actually think Luffy's gonna fight him for the key? Like that's what I'm torn on right now. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that him and Luffy's gonna fight for the key. But I'm could be wrong. I don't know. But I really like this guy. This guy's really cool. So I'll give him that. But with that being said, do you have anything else to add to this One Piece episode?
No, I think they did a fantastic job. They did a really nice job of just like touching up on certain things, and like even how the flashback scene they circled back to and they colored it in so you could see how they looked back then.
I like it.
And just like the fact to how you can see more of like Zoro and Rayleigh, or how you can see Sanji and Scopper, like they're doing such a great job of drawing those parallels together. It's so great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the flashback too. Like the style that they chose to do it in, so it was really cool. So, um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to what happens next. It's been very interesting so far. Um,
Yes.
so I'm assuming that the rest of this Cour is going to be really cool to watch. Um, and y'all if y'all still listening, obviously you watch One Piece. Y'all need to bully Nam into watching One Piece heroines. He
Not
must,
gonna happen.
as a One Piece fan, he must watch Peak.
Not peak. It is
Damn.
not peak. I
He's
read it.
he
I
Nam is
read it,
saying
Tyler.
Nami and Robin are trash, basically. Okay, that's
No,
the end of the episode,
I'm not
y'all.
saying there. Hang on, hang
That's
on.
the end of the
Don't
episode. We're
don't you dare
cutting.
put that evil on
We're
me, Ricky
we're
Bobby.
fading to black now. Nam cannot get any rebuttals in.
No, I'm not done.
And even if he
No,
does, I'm
no.
cutting it out so nobody knows.
I have read it, okay? I know what happens. I
Mm.
just was not. It's the difference between fan letter, right, and something else. Fan letter ties more into the actual story, and it was a lot cooler. It was
Oh
unassociated
yeah, yeah.
with like certain characters. If it's not focusing on the entirety of the Straw Hats, I don't care.
Fan letter I watched I don't know how many times. I'm probably only gonna watch Heroines once. So it was good, but it wasn't fan letter good. So
See, what are you trying to bully me for?
at least I watched it.
Go watch it 27,000 more times and then come talk to me and ask me to watch it.
All right, I'll work on that tonight. It's gonna be a long time, but anyways, that is gonna be it for this episode of the Summer Rundown. I don't know what's going on for next week. But I'm sure we'll figure out something. But yeah, stay tuned for whatever that is, and we will catch you on uh Wednesday or whatever. So peace.
Later.